Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the final day of NAVA 57. We have a packed schedule, so I'm going to go through the slides and more really talk about them and try to save as much of my slot time here for questions and interactions with you. Okay, so let's, part of annual meetings, particularly before we went digital and virtual, was to actually conduct business during the annual meeting, and that is this part of the of NAVA 57. So we call this the State of the Association. Okay. Here's a few things that we're going to discuss, some memberships, topics that I think you all should be aware of because it's just been phenomenal as far as the last couple of years, but really for the last 4 or 5. There's a few things that I want to talk about as far as NAVA's mission is concerned. We need to make sure that you're aware of the financials. I think that's important for the membership, and we're going to talk about future meetings. Okay, not that I'm expecting you to read the sign, read the text on the slide, but in general terms, NAVA is a little over 1,000 members now. Okay, so yeah. New members. Last year was about 283. We're still obviously well away from the end of 2023, and we're already at 255. And we anticipate, if the pace continues, that we should add another 60 or so to the rolls. So it should be another banner year as far as membership growth, not to mention the types and demographics of memberships. And by types, I'm talking about whether you're a regular member, associate member, those kinds of things. Speaking of which, as you can see, the regular membership is the great majority of the membership in NAVA. And what I'd like to point out is that student section continues to grow as well as associate. And that is a significant, as you can see, part of the NAVA membership that I think we need to address to ensure that we are meeting our member needs. And that was one of the things that I pointed out to our 23 and younger group last night, is we need to make sure that we're paying attention and taking care of our members and providing programming and if anything, assisting them in how they view their role in the association. Okay. Not only is it individual members, but I think it's important to show the breadth of NAVA membership as far as not just the countries that make up North America, but the countries around the planet or across the planet that have members in NAVA. Not surprisingly, of course, the U.S. makes up the large bulk of membership, but you might want to take note all the way down towards Belgium, China, the Netherlands, Estonia, Luxembourg, Cameroon. Is there members? Nope, I don't see them. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry, jet lag. There you go. Okay, a wide range of countries across the planet have representatives in NAVA, and I think that's just terrific. Yes, we're called the North American, but we, I think, appeal to a broad range of cultures, and there's room for everybody in NAVA, no matter where you come from. Okay, here's a little thing that I tend to keep an eye on, and this is just me as your president. It's important, of course, to address where we have members from, keeping those kinds of things in mind. Culture is very important, but I also need, I think, to keep an eye on where we don't have members, because I think it's important for us to try to understand why we don't have members in these areas. Are we missing something in our big tent philosophy where there's room for everybody in NAVA? So we don't have members in some of the states in the U.S. There's a few of the provinces and territories in Canada. For me, my wife is from Newfoundland, so I keep poking, going, hey, help me out here, get the word out. And I think it's important to ensure that we've addressed how to include more so Mexico in our programming and our recruiting efforts. So please help us with that. Your board is more than open to ideas and inputs and suggestions as to how we might be able to reach out to the areas of the world where we don't have members in NAVA. Okay. So as the bottom line says, please help us recruit new members. Okay. Okay. Again, not expecting you to read all of this, but it's there if you'd like to take a look. Okay. Student membership, as you can see, has grown from 50 to 134, and associate members from 23 to 151. Okay. It's dangerous for me to do math in public, so that's why it's up on the slide. But what I'll mention to you though is you take a look and you're going, holy cow, this is, doubling numbers, maybe even tripling numbers, that kind of stuff. But you have to keep in mind that as far as percentages are concerned, NAVA itself has also doubled more so in numbers. So it's not necessarily, a 50% increase. In some instances, we're quadrupling the numbers of people in different categories or types in NAVA. So I think that's phenomenal. But we need your assistance to identify and develop and specifically, of course, executing programming that we offer and that we try to produce for the membership in NAVA. We're run all by volunteers. Okay, there's no paid staff in NAVA. So the only reason things get done is because members of NAVA do it. So please, we need your input, we need your support. An important feed to all of that is our member survey that we do every year. Please, please, please get the word out. Let's face it, the folks that come to NAVA meetings are more likely to participate in the survey. So I know it sounds like I'm preaching to the choir, but we need to get the word out as members to the rest of the association to please provide input. And one of the best ways to do that is with the member survey. And of course, contacting your board members. Okay, where's Graham? I thought I saw, okay, I knew you were here. If you could stand up, please. I'm going to put you on the spot. This is Graham's program, okay? Trying to develop program for the youth in the association. And we can do that in a number of different ways. So please take note of the addresses down at the bottom. If you are able to support and you don't have to have a background in youth programming or those kinds of things, I'm sure Graham would appreciate assistance, help in any regard. But this is one of the things that I was talking about as far as trying to figure out how to address the needs of the association and how we need you all to support that by taking on either developing and executing or assisting those that do. Okay, we're all in this together, and we need everybody to give us a hand with trying to develop. And I should say, let's maintain what we've got, but let's make sure we also try to add new things to address the needs of our membership. Okay, so as I've mentioned, speaking of needing assistance, NAVA is an all volunteer organization. Okay, everything's accomplished in NAVA by volunteers. Okay, tremendous growth and widening appeal also means we have a growth in need. Okay, so again, pounding on the podium here, we need you. Okay, and there's lots of information on our website. Ted can give you a great overview if you have any questions. But if you're not going to NAVA's website first, when you have a question or are looking for something about flags, I highly recommend that you do. Why redo work that's already been done? See what's available. NAVA's website is a great place to start, but it's also a great place to start to let you know what we need help with and maybe even give you ideas about something new for membership. Okay, financials. Again, dangerous for me to do math in public, so I asked Jim to give me some information to pass on to you. Because of the great work I think your board and members that are associated have done, we tend to run a modest surplus each year, so we're rebuilding our reserves that were depleted in years past. Membership has doubled, so has dues revenue. But you have to remember, with our students and associates, our dues are a little less. So while we have greater need, the dues base is a little skewed. So again, management of our financial resources is very important to make sure we keep up with need. And as you can see there, we had a low point in 2017 of about 17,000, and now we're over 28. Ted, correct me if I'm wrong, or Jim, is Jim here? I thought I saw him. Oh, sorry, there you go. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's still about a quarter, maybe a third of what our reserves used to be.
It's half of where we were.
Half of where we used to be. Okay, so we still got a long way to go to rebuild our reserves from just 2017. Okay. Okay, future meetings, hot topic. Okay. There are folks out there that have expressed an interest in hosting NAVA meetings. And I use that term host I'm kind of hesitant because I don't want people to think that if you would like to have a NAVA meeting in your city or town, that you're going to end up doing all the work. That's not the case. But we do need folks, we believe, on the ground to help because trying to do things completely remotely has its dangers. So we reached out, folks said we're interested. And as you can see, we have folks from different states, Minnesota, North Carolina, and Washington State that have expressed an interest. We very recently got a final proposal from the folks in Minnesota asking for NAVA to host NAVA 58 in St. Paul. So the board still needs to take a look at that final proposal and make sure that we've given it due process, and we'll make a decision and get that out to the membership as quickly as possible. But we wanted to make sure you knew that we did get that package, that it's a very serious one, and we want to make sure that the board has an opportunity to take a look at it, but that there are other groups of folks that have expressed interest, and as I mentioned, you see them on the slide. That doesn't mean that we're good. We can rest. Okay, because we always want to be maybe 2 and 3 years out in the future so that we have a smooth transition and we're actually able to start planning, ideally year and a half out, so that we can get things done ahead of time and make sure that we provide you, the membership, the right information about where you might be traveling the next time. Okay, so let me wrap up and go to questions. One thing I'd like to point out, where's Ted Dahlberg? Oh, sorry. Yeah. If you stand up real quick for me, okay? I wanted to take this opportunity as your president to make sure that we recognize Ted and let you all know who has been a major force in how successful this meeting has been this year. And so, Ted, thank you.
Many people how about the other people standing up?
Philly folks, please, if you're here. Hey, there you go. Okay. I hope I covered the slides well enough, or at least the information. I know I tried to do that quickly. Hopefully I was successful, but I do want to make sure that I take questions and comments from the floor. Hold for me just a second, Nick. We had someone in the back. Yes. No, I couldn't agree more, and that's why I was mentioning we'd really like to have established places for future meetings 2 and 3 years out. If anything, just to give the folks that tend to carry the bulk of the planning and execution responsibilities time to make sure the resources are there. So I couldn't agree more. Okay. What has been, I guess, the track record of NAVA keeping associate members or younger members, let's just use the grouping kind of, and keeping them to transition into regular members?
I can answer that.
Okay.
As your secretary who handles membership, I can answer that. Our largest challenge in retaining members is actually any members who have joined in their first 2 years. It's the first 2 years where we have the most churn, where people find out whether NAVA is right for them or we're meeting their needs. We have a good track record of associates remaining members when they become students or regular members, but all groups are subject to a lot of churn in the first couple of years. So outreach to new members is a great opportunity for us to retain members even more. Thank you.
Nick, does that address? Okay. Speaking of which, Steve and his group of folks that reach out to new members and reach out to lapsed members, those kind of things, has just been incredible. So Steve, you and your folks, thank you very much. Those efforts really do make a difference in retaining membership across the board, regardless of what type, but thanks. Yes.
We had a question from chat from Tom Carrier. Is the increase in student members the result of scholarships by members?
Okay. In case you didn't hear the question, the increase in student member, or the question is the increase in student members or younger members a result of scholarships? Go ahead.
Answer that too. The increase in student memberships and the increase in associate memberships is a result of all the programming that NAVA is doing, and especially I think our support of the flag design community, which attracts a lot of younger members. The scholarship program that we have, formally, we have a scholarship program to underwrite the participation in annual meetings of younger members. But we also have a member dues assistance fund, especially during the pandemic and financial stresses, where some members contributed money to a fund that helped pay the dues of other members who couldn't afford the dues those years. It's well over $1,000, a couple $1,000 have gone out to fund the dues of members who couldn't afford them. So we don't have a formal scholarship program for younger members, but we cut the dues prices in half for associates and students.
Oh, the question is, how many Zoom participants have we had so far during the meeting?
Saturday we had 13. During the dinner presentation, we had 4.
Okay, so yesterday we had 13 members Zooming in, and then 4, because we also did the dinner, 4 dialed in as well.
Got a concern or consideration about the information that we were provided in our packet, specifically the fact that we got a printed copy of names, email addresses, and physical addresses of all meeting attendees. I know that we do opt into that when we join the association, and I don't recall if there was a specific opt-in for its inclusion upon registration for the annual meeting, but it's something that I just wanted to bring up as a potential consideration and see if it's something that is needed for the association at this time.
Okay, because Ted handled that, he's probably the better person to provide the answer.
The registration materials, when you registered, said your information was going to be on the roster. And the confirmation that people got said, this is what's going to be on the roster. So anybody who wanted to opt out of that had the opportunity, and at least one person did. On the NAVA website, in our member system, you have the opportunity to select one of 8 levels of disclosure of your personal information. So we've got it covered in both ways.
The one, I guess, consideration, because I know it's also something we all had to do through the member directory. I think the printed copy that could very easily fall wherever, and knowing that, you know, not to be hyperbolic, but realistic, as people some people tend to see the flag community as, you know, something that is attempting to assert political will in areas. I just think it's something we should consider as an association, if it's something that we provide in printed format in that fashion.
Okay, well, that's definitely something to add to our, what I refer to as lessons learned, and what we'll talk about in the after action part of the committee. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, we will. Yeah, please.
Kind of going back to something you were talking about earlier about inclusion of participants Mexico and other parts of North America. Has there ever been a concerted effort to provide Spanish language materials just and or collaboration with other federations or vexillological associations in South America to be able to provide that for interested groups?
Yes, but very, very small, admittedly. Okay, if you take a look at our website, we have like the protocol section. You'll see that it now includes not just Canada and the United States, but also includes Mexico, both in English and in Spanish. But that's a relatively new effort. There has been efforts in the past, but as I mentioned during the brief, we need to do better. But we need help with that. I was just talking to a young man, one of the group of the 23 and under last night, specifically about that. As a matter of fact, the pin I'm wearing is one he gave me. It's the flags of the U.S. and Mexico together. So yes, and we need to do much better.
Stan, you could mention our support of the Costa Rican organization.
Yes, there's a small group of vexillologists in Costa Rica that wanted to create a version of NAVA for their country, and we supported them in their efforts with their government because they need that, just like NAVA's chartered. So they kind of go through that same process in Costa Rica. And so we assisted them. My Spanish is horrible. My mother would be appalled, but Ted's is much better. And so we've attended their meetings, even attended when they presented their articles to their government during that meeting to assist them. So as I mentioned, there are efforts, but I think we need to do better. That helps. Okay. Dean was asking, do we have a program in NAVA to recognize longtime members, longtime contributors, maybe with an honorary membership? And the answer is yes, we do. As a matter of fact, we at San Antonio provided honorary members, identified and awarded honorary memberships to NAVA members. That's a pretty big deal. Quite frankly, it's probably one of the highest honors we can give someone. So it's not something that is, if you take a look on our website, you'll see all the honorary members that have been granted that. So it's a small group. So long way of saying, yes, we do, but it's used sparingly. Again, it's been a great group of folks on the ground, and a great group of folks that have joined in on the committee to make it happen. We've got Melvin over there, and I'm specifically pointing him out because I want to make sure that you all know the silent auction is still going on. So please take a look at what Melvin has organized over there at the table. But he has been dialing in on committee meetings, I think, from the beginning. And so it's folks like that that have made this happen. So Art, I appreciate that. It's definitely been a group effort. And if I can, since I have a minute, probably, what I wanted to mention is it's because the committee members have been in on everything for planning. It might have been painful for some of them because they were only, involved in one particular aspect of the committee, but we've had everybody involved. And that has come in handy when we run into situations where things didn't necessarily go as planned. Hopefully it was transparent to you all because folks just rolled in, took over where it was needed, and kept things moving. Okay, and so it's a great process to be part of, and I'm hoping you all and those out in the ether world join in on planning and executing future meetings. So, okay.
You're good. Right
Okay.
on time.
I think my time is up. Thank you very much, everyone.